Hey class, welcome back. Today is Wednesday and this is our social studies video. So yesterday we talked a bit about explorers. We talked about Christopher Columbus, we talked about Juan Ponce de Leon, and we talked about Christopher Newport. So today the three that are on your assignment besides Juan Ponce de Leon, the three that were on your assignment are Robert de La Salle, Hernando Cortez, and Henry Hudson. So we're going to talk about the three of them today so you can do your assignment knowing who these people are. Okay? So first we have Robert de La Salle. His full name is, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, it is French, and I don't know how to speak French. It is René Robert Cavelier Sieur de La Salle, something along those lines. He was born in 1643. Again, he's French, so he was born in France. In 1667, he actually sailed to Montreal, which is in Canada, which is north of the United States. So he was in Montreal for a while. He was looking for a western route to China when he did that. So in 1679, he had a fort on the Niagara River, and he was ready to start exploring the Great Lakes area. So the 5 Great Lakes that, if you look towards the Midwest and the Northeast, those 5 lakes there, he was getting ready to explore those. And then he would eventually travel down the Mississippi and the Illinois River. So the Mississippi River starts all the way up in Minnesota and goes all the way down to Louisiana, Mississippi. And the Illinois River is in Illinois, and it connects to the Mississippi. So when he did travel down those two, he started putting forts along them for France. So France claimed a lot of the region going along the Mississippi and Illinois rivers. They had a lot of control of those rivers and of that land. Eventually he got towards the bottom and he named a whole region Louisiana. He named that after King Louis XIV. He was king at the time, and so when Robert de La Salle founded this area and named it, he was like, after the king. This is the king's land, so it's called Louisiana. Okay? So that's what he did. He claimed a lot of land for France, and he was exploring a lot of a lot of the U.S. for France before it was the U.S. But on your assignment tonight, you're just mapping out one of his routes. Okay? So keep in mind, though, that he did claim a lot of land. That'll be important for tomorrow's lesson as well, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Next, we're going to look at Hernando Cortez. Hernando Cortez is Spanish. He was born in Spain. He was born in 1485. So in 1511, he ended up going to Cuba with a guy named Diego Velázquez. Now, Diego we're not going to study really right now, but I need you to know that Cortez was not the commander for that one. So he went with somebody else named Diego Velázquez. He stayed there for several years, so that was 1511. Several years later, in 1519, he was set to command his own ship to go to Mexico. Now, that ended up getting canceled, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to go anyway. And so he did. He ran into the Aztecs, the Native Americans in Mexico. They were the Aztecs, and their capital city, which is, pardon my pronunciation, I'm gonna try, Tenochtitlan, which is current day Mexico City. They were trying to gain control of that from the Aztecs. So in 1519, when he started having these conflicts with the Aztecs, he was trying to take over their capital city. However, it didn't end up being successful. Eventually, the Aztecs defeated the Spaniards for that. And then he had come back 2 years later in 1521, and he would eventually defeat the Aztecs and claim Mexico for Spain. Okay? So that's what he did. And then we're going to look at Henry Hudson. Henry Hudson is English. He was born in England in 1565. He was going to look for a western trade route to China as well. But he was looking to do it from the Arctic Ocean, which is, up by the North Pole. It's way further north. So he ran into several issues several times while he was doing his voyages. The first 2 times it was stopped by ice. And that was between 1607, 1608-ish. So then in 1609, he took another voyage, and when he got stopped by ice, he ended up going back, and he ended up finding land. He landed in what's now called Nova Scotia, which is up in Canada as well. And so he landed in Nova Scotia and ended up going as far south on the eastern border, which is what we now know as the northeast of the U.S. He went as far south as Virginia at the time before going back up. So when he landed in Nova Scotia, he was like, I'm going to explore more. And so he started exploring the coastline more up until Virginia, and then he went back north. And then in 1610, he took a voyage that ended him up in James Bay, which is also in Canada, okay? So those are the three that you're doing your assignment on today. If you have any questions, so all you're doing is plotting those points and connecting them with the line, okay? And then just take a picture and send it to me or scan it in to me with your weekly homework. But if you have any questions, I'm here.